All right, all right, all right. Let's get into this. Let's see here. Let me switch my screens up. What is going on, everybody? I am excited to be here with you guys. Let me get this situated. I'm using a different setup now. So let's see. Let me turn off my overlay. All right. So, welcome to Free Show Friday. I am Gary, and I am here to talk with you guys about everything related to Free Show, and I can't wait. Let me know how the audio sounds. Like I said, I had to do a lot of work to get up a new setup. Let me see. Let me pull up my chat here. Audio's pretty low. All right, let me see what I can do about that. Let me see what it sounds like on my end. Mic check 1 2. That's crazy because on my end it sounds fairly loud. Let me slide this up. Hold on. Okay, that's there. All right, how's that sound? I'll pull it up just a bit, and then I'll pull this up. All right, how's that? Is it a little bit louder? I know for me it seems loud. Good afternoon, Kano. Welcome to the party. All right, let's see here. Hopefully that's good. It might have just been me being pretty low. Well, and Kano, where you from again? Let me know. Okay, that's better. Good. I say good afternoon. I guess it's morning where I'm at. What time is it in Michigan and all that? I know it's morning over there for you guys in Illinois. You guys are Midwest, so it's like 10 o'clock, 10 something. Over here it's 11. I'm in Atlanta area, so that's kind of like a East Coast time zone. But awesome. It's been a crazy week, crazy busy, crazy good. And what did we do this week? So we came out with a new what do we call it? Like a template for live streaming, right? The lower thirds. I don't know if you guys got to check that out yet, or if you've already made your own. Let me know in the chat. Have you already made your own lower thirds transparent templates for scriptures and songs? And also, I guess you could say it works for presentations too, where it's just text at the bottom for a live stream. I've been working on that and I've been using them, and I was like, I need to start using that and then make it available. But yeah, I wasn't sure if anybody had already been doing something like that. So let me know, have you guys been using live stream lower thirds that are just transparent like what I released earlier this week? Oh, yeah, so Kano from South Africa. What's the time out there? I'm guessing it's pretty late in the evening for you right now, right? And then Serge, good afternoon or good morning, watching from the Philippines. I love to use Free Show for church ministry purposes. I love it. Glad to have you on, my man, or my friend. I should say. I don't like to say man or woman on here because I don't know. I can't tell from the names because you guys get to make up all kinds of fun names. But my friend, thank you for joining, Serge. I appreciate that. And yeah, we're excited to be here. So lower thirds, who's using them? Mr. Gray, FSF. Oh man, I don't know what FSF stands for. I'm not the hippest guy. You guys got to help me out. What is FSF? Does it stand for Free Show? For real? I got no clue. Look, let me look this up. FSF. I got nothing. What does FSF stand for? Oh, Free Show. I'm about to keep that one. I'm so lost, man. I had a tough day at the gym. I ended up running a little bit further than I usually run, and starting a little bit later than I usually start. But it is great. Let's see, you're not yet still evaluating Free Show. Okay, all right. And so I'm gonna go ahead and jump into some stuff in Free Show. Today we're going to talk about this update that just came out, 1.4, and then I want to debrief, obviously, with the lower thirds, the transparent lower thirds video that came out, and then also the interview. I know that, who told me they just read, was that let's see. Al was talking about they just watched the interview from yesterday that just premiered. That was such a fun experience. So, so he said it's 5:15 now. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. But if you didn't get to, make sure to check out the interview we had, part one of the interview from yesterday with Christopher, which is I'm gonna call him the founder, the creator of FreeShow. He's from the Netherlands, I believe, or like I might get it mixed up. I think he said either Norway or the Netherlands. He might jump on. I'm not sure if he's going to have time to get on or not. But he gave me the opportunity to get an interview with him, and then Mike Bird from the board of FreeShow. He's also a community partner, so he actually goes around to different cities and helps churches implement FreeShow and church app software. So in that interview, he highlighted how to integrate everything they do with this whole church apps ecosystem. And it's a really cool process, especially if you have a ministry that is looking to either switch from a current program that's not doing what you need and or is costing you money, because all their programs are free, right? So all their programs are at no cost whatsoever, including FreeShow. Christopher, Norway. All right. I was like, I remember telling you about my friend from the Netherlands, and I was like, that's in the area, but I don't think it's Netherlands. It's Norway. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Christopher, man. Like I said, thanks again for that interview, bro. That was a lot of fun. And part 2 is coming out next week on Thursday, so we'll look forward to releasing that. Hopefully I'll be able to release some kind of teaser or something like that to give you guys. Those are on my mailing list. You'll get it behind the scenes before anybody in terms of what it's looking like, how I'm editing it and stuff like that. And then we'll see the release come out on Thursday, and I'll look forward to doing it as a premiere again and kind of chat with you guys. I think I was chatting too much in the chat, and my wife didn't even know that I was on the chat. She couldn't figure out how to find it, and that was a whole nother thing. I didn't know how to find it either if I wasn't on my computer, but she was able to figure it out later on, so it worked out. So Kano says the interview was, I'm guess he's saying, oh, great. I appreciate that. And that's because of Christopher and Mike. Like I said, those guys are great to help just share their heart about this program that we all are beginning to use or have been using and love. I know for me, I'm on the I love it and I use it situation, right? So I want to let's jump into these lower thirds real quick. All right. So let's jump into this lower thirds process. I'm going to start a new show, and let's do here, and I'm going to call this one FreeShow Training Lower Thirds. And let me make sure I share my screen with y'all real quick so y'all can see what I'm doing. All right. So let's do share screen. Look, this is a part of that whole process of me getting used to the new switch of using a different format. All right. So you guys can see that, and notice how it says welcome to FreeShow Friday over the top, because I'm sharing my screen using FreeShow. And so all I got to do is hit this little slide option, and it makes it go away. So now you can just see the entire screen, but I can pop up any text over the top of this, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to do a new slide. We're going to call it, we're going to put in here a text box. And this is where it's going to get fun, because I'm going to mix in a variable and let's go back. Functions, because I want to put in, someone asked me to put in like topics, right? So the topics of the discussion. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to show you guys how I would do it actually. So it's going to be a twofold. So the first step is creating a slide, and then I say the first step, that could be the first step if you wanted to, but I'm going to go ahead and put in a text variable, and I'm going to call this one FreeShow Friday Topics. All right. And you notice it pops up down here. You can see it a little bit. All right. And let me pull this over. I want to see the comments. Let's see here. We got Juan Morales. Welcome. He said, I hope all is well, brother. Keep up the great content. I use FreeShow every Sunday, and you've been vital in the learning process. Hello from Connecticut. Hey, Connecticut. Connecticut. Okay, I've been there once or twice back in the day when I was working at a cable company at Time Warner Cable. And so, yeah, sweet, man. I'm glad you get to use it every week. Like I said, that's the best way to use it is to use it regularly. So I'm excited about it. And yeah, I'm with Al on that too, Christopher. God bless you, my man. God bless you for the work that you've done. This 1.4 update, I'm gonna need your help if you can stick around for a little bit because I got some questions. I know you saw the ticket I put in. I saw that you already corrected and fixed that, but I got some questions about some other parts of this. But before we get to that, I'm gonna finish this little variable piece so I can type in. So I got Free Show Friday topics, and it's literally just text. So I'm gonna call this one transparent lower thirds. All right. So I got that in there, and I can just hit enter. It locks it in. It's active and on. But in my edit on this slide, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say dynamic values. And this is a part of the new update, you guys. This whole dynamic values page update is unbelievable. Like, this is crazy, right? So the way they design this is so cool. So it's got a breakdown of the time, the show, the text, the video, metadata, and then your variables here at the bottom. But the cool thing is it actually shows like what the variable will be before you even select it. That crazy. All right. So now what I'm looking for is the transparent lower thirds or the variable for Free Show Friday. So I select that and it shows up here. It says variable _FS _ Friday _ topics. That's one thing. But what it's doing is it's giving me access to type in whatever I want here. So I'm gonna go back to the show and let's do this here. Let's say that's on. And now you can see how it says transparent lower thirds down at the bottom for the live stream. So that's showing up for you guys. So I'm streaming my screen, right? That's what you see up here in the upper right corner up here. That's literally my screen that you can see. But then I added in my lower thirds or my transparent lower thirds to kind of give like a title feel to it, right? But I don't necessarily like that feel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust that and I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want to make it to where it's a little more customized and out of the way. So we're going to pull this down here. I'm going to shrink it down and we're going to bring this down as well. And I'm just customizing the look and feel of this. And I'm going to go to the text box. I'm going to say auto size so it'll shrink down and fit. And then I want to make the text color be, I'm going to make it be black, but I want the background of this item to be white. So it can always be seen. And then I don't want a shadow on it. So let's take the shadow off. Let's make that be 0, that be 0, and that be 0. Hit enter. And then let's go back to the text. And it should update. Boom. And Christopher, I don't know why, but you could tell me about this. Whenever I have a shadow, I have to always go into, I start with the item and I'll take it off of there because it's always on by default. But then when I go to, I have to go to the shadow on the text box in order to actually see that change active. But that's a whole nother story. It's not a big deal to me. I've just kind of navigated with it. So now what you guys will see, if I refresh, you'll see the transparent lower thirds title there, which looks a lot better, but I want it to have a little bit of a padding on it. So I'm gonna go to the item. Let's make it have some padding because I don't want to go all the way to the edge like that. Yeah, that's good. All right, so we'll go to show, we'll update, and now it fits in there just fine. So now you always know what I'm talking about. That's the idea, and I got to remind myself to type in there what we're talking about. So I always have to go to the variables and just be to type it in because we talk about all kinds of cool stuff. All right, so let's see here. Adeteo joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. Many thanks for your guidance. Man, oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're joining us. What time is it there in Nigeria? I'm curious. Arnell giving some love to Christopher. Man, I love it. I love it. And then Serge question is the NDI source is not appearing on my OBS studio. What should be done? Okay, we can work on that. It says when you click, okay, so then Christopher's answering my question. When you click the shadow for the text, it will automatically take it off for you. You don't need to change the item shadow. Oh, okay. Thanks for adding the topic titles. Brian, were you the one to ask me for that? Because I love the idea. And I'm like, I need to figure out how to do that. So I was like, I was going to just set it up And I was like, I think I'm gonna just make that a part of the discussion to show you guys how I would set it up. So it's actually there. So hopefully that makes sense and is helpful. So 4:25 p.m. Okay. All right. Not too bad in Nigeria. I like that. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. All right. So we got our lower thirds. I say lower thirds. We got our title at the bottom. All right. And I did that by adding a variable under the functions tab. And we got to see the new layout for the variables. That's awesome, Brian. I don't remember names too well, but I remember ideas and topics and requests and questions and things like that, because that's just how my mind works. So thank you for making that suggestion. I've been thinking about it ever since you asked about it. I just had to figure out what's another way we could do this. And it may change next week. I don't know. We'll see. This is what we're going to do today. But I've been streamlining and kind of fine tuning my process, but I've been using a lot more of OBS. So let's go into, I'm going to share my screen with OBS real quick. Let's see here. So I'm going to skip over here. And the question was NDI not showing up in OBS Studio from Surge. All right. So Surge, let me see here. I'm going to, I think I got another layout. Let me see something here. Did I make another layout for this? I did not check. Hold on. Let me see. Side by side. I'm looking at all my different screens on my YOLO box to make sure I didn't already create something. Okay. So for the first part of that process, of that question, the first thing you have to do is you have to make sure you have NDI active on an output that you plan to use. Okay. So for me, I've only got one output active right now, which is just, I'm calling it my primary. So if I go to my settings and I go to outputs, you'll see, excuse me, down at the bottom here, we got live stream, no checkbox next or check mark next to it, so it's not active. Primary has a checkbox, it's active. And I got a couple others here. None of those are active right now. But if I go to live stream, NDI is disabled. Okay, so if you just enable NDI, that would do it. So if I turn this on, and let's see here, it says output screen capture enabled. Oh, dang, let's see, let me go back to it. All right, this may cause performance issues. Only use if needed. Okay, all right, so enable NDI is active for this, which one is that? That's the live stream. So if I go into OBS now, so let's go back into FreeShow and let's look at screens, and I'm going to go to OBS. All right. So you should see my OBS screen. It's going to kind of duplicate itself, so ignore that part. But I'm going to select, if I were to go to here, let's see. So that kind of gives you a full screen view. All right. You can still hear me, but this is a full screen view. It's kind of looking funky, but I'm going to add in the, well, this is the NDI source right now for, if we go to properties on this one's called the primary, right? I'm going to cancel that, and we'll do, I'm gonna go back to this screen, and I'm going to make it, and I've got that primary one here as well, but I'm going to change it to be different. So I'm going to right click and go to properties, and nope, don't see it yet. So you've got to activate that output. So I got to go back into FreeShow. So if I go back into FreeShow here, you'll see that I got to go into outputs and select not just NDI active, but I've got to actually enable the output. So now you'll see the output popped up. Live stream is there. All right. If I go to show, I've got it. And then you'll notice this is my live stream. So I've got it set to a transparent lower thirds as a default. All right. And it actually is sort of look like that, just completely blank, you know, checkered boxes and then transparent lower thirds. All right. So if you were doing this for a live stream, just a generic look, I would probably do it something like, I would say plus, and I would say, I'm gonna call this live stream setup. We'll say okay. All right, and then I need to add a camera so you guys can see. Let's see. Oh, it's completely blank. Let me share my screen. Hold on. All right, so from there, let me see what happened with my screen. Hold on. Oh, it's not showing because I haven't added it. Hold on just a second, you guys. Let's add in NDI source. All right. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So I'm using OBS to show you guys and to edit. So that's my fault. All right. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to select the plus sign and I'm going to select NDI source. And for this one, I'm going to say FreeShow live stream. All right. And then I'll say, okay, that's there. And then I would pick, oh, that's not even a NDI. Let me remove that. Hit the plus. I hit media source. NDI source is what you need. All right, so I need to type in FreeShow live stream. Hit OK. And then when I go to the source, I'll see live stream and I'll see primary. So I'm going to select live stream and say OK. And then you notice the transparent lower thirds pops up. Now, the thing about this is I also need, what you guys would typically have is a camera. So I'm going to say video capture device under my plus sign on my particular source. So I select that. And I've already got one, my GH6 here. So I'll say OK. And that's there, but it's on top. So I need to pull it down. All right. So I pulled it down to the bottom, and then you got your live stream above that. And let's see here if I can make this go away. You'll see there that it has the lower thirds. It has the video. And this is typically what you want to have for your ministry time, right? For your ministries. All right. Let me pause. Let's go back to FreeShow real quick. I want to go and look at my other screen. There we go. All right. And so let's see here. Lower thirds. I love lower thirds with all my heart. I love it, Kalo. German is on. Good morning from Bermuda. Welcome, my friend. How can I add or insert PowerPoint file on FreeShow? That's a good question, Serge. We'll talk about that in a second. Because I've got some feedback about that. I think that's going to be coming up in episode 2 tomorrow related to that. But that's a good question. We'll talk about that a little bit. Just don't let me forget. All right. And so for our transparent lower thirds that we've got here, this is a live stream setup. But look at the, let's see, let me share my screen again. Hold on. If you look at my layout, you got to make sure that you have your live stream, whatever NDI feed you're going to call it from FreeShow, above your camera feed. All right. Oh, let's see. It's still not showing up. Hold on. All right. Here we go. So you got to have your live feed above your camera feed. And I can't really show it because I've got it tied up a little bit different. Let's see here. If we go here, this is crazy. Let's see, live stream setup. Yeah, it kicks me out. This is hilarious. All right. So I'm using OBS to share with you guys, but the reality is the main thing that you want to make sure of is that in my live stream setup, I can't click it because it'll pop up and show up a different way. But you got to make sure, like GH6 is my camera. For my live stream setup, it's at the bottom, and then I have my FreeShow live stream lower thirds above that. So these are layers here. You want to make sure that if you got lower thirds in, it's going to show up like that. And so it'll look like this because the actual camera itself is the GH6, which you're looking at right now. And the transparent lower thirds there at the bottom, that's coming from FreeShow. All right. But they're layered in that way. All right. So let's go back into to FreeShow. Hopefully that helps you, my friend, when you talked about trying to get NDI to receive it. The main thing is you got to select NDI source. Now, the other part, if you don't see NDI source, right? If you don't see the option for NDI source, what that means is that you probably got an issue with, let's go back. You may have an issue with trying to get the tool. So you got to get this distro AV NDI setting. So you need to go to distro AV and download the plugin, I guess is what you can call it, for OBS. And then when you do that, when you go down to your sources, you hit the plus sign, you'll see the source for NDI. It'll say NDI source. And that way you'll have interactivity because FreeShow has it built in. It's already built in. You just have to activate NDI and enable that on your output like we did. And then you can go back into OBS and turn it on and add it to your sources. All right, for whatever scene you want. All right. Now let's see here. That question that came up was, let's see here. How can I insert PowerPoint file on FreeShow? I'm gonna give you guys a quick teaser for the interview next week. I gotta let you guys know. You guys are in the inside club right now. They're joining live on FreeShow on Friday. That Mike has started a petition, figuratively speaking, to transition from using PowerPoint and let's start using FreeShow for our slides. Because the question that we have to ask ourselves is, what do we need PowerPoint for on FreeShow when FreeShow creates slides for you, right? And so, Serge, let me know, is it because you got this whole database of a bunch of slides? And we'll go from there, because that's a good question. Let's see here. Good afternoon from John. Hey, how's it going, buddy? I really enjoyed watching the first part of the interview. I'm glad you did. That's your man Christopher making it happen. Like I said, I love his origin story. I still can't get over that. And that camp, they actually use FreeShow to this day. That's beautiful. Beautiful situation. All right. But if you wanted to use PowerPoint, okay, let's say you had to use PowerPoint, you would have to go up to the top in the file and you would select the option that says import. And in here, you got the option to import PowerPoint here, and you also get the option. Now, this is interesting because this is broken up by FreeShow as a category, and these are all FreeShow items you can import. But then they got this option called text. My recommendation is to import the text of your PowerPoint. Now, here's the challenge. Everybody formats their PowerPoints differently and all this kind of stuff. So your text may be all over the place when you import it. So I can't speak to how you arrange your PowerPoints, but this will import just the text from your PowerPoint. All right. Now, another way to do this, you might say, okay, and I don't know, I don't use Microsoft Windows computers anymore, but I'm curious, would it be easier to export? Can you export a PowerPoint to be like a text or a Word document and then import that? A text file or a Word document, because the main thing is you want to get this text in there. You want to be able to format this text to be a slideshow in FreeShow is the goal. And then if you have to, you can try using the media, where it's actually the media, and make your PowerPoint come in this way. My recommendation is, if you've got your PowerPoint designed the way you want it, you really like the look and feel of it, because maybe the background is there that you can't use or you don't have for FreeShow, then I would export my PowerPoint as image files and save it as image files, and then just import that into FreeShow in the media. And I would just make a folder. Actually, I would just make a folder on my computer and call it whatever you want to call that slideshow, and then drag those, not drag, but point that particular, that folder in your media. So like I've got this here. This is called Battle Business Plan. This was a business meeting that I did. I would make a folder like that and then add that folder into my media. All right. And then when you do that, you'll be able to see the whole list of all the different pictures, and then you can, add those pictures into a slideshow and make your slideshow there. It won't have all the fancy animations if that's what you're looking for. That's debatable as to if they're, necessary to be that way, but I would break it up. If you need things to slide in, I would just make different phases of each image for each transition slide in, if you've got things sliding in left and right or whatnot. All right. Kano says, how do you include the logo next to your lower thirds? There's a lot of different ways you can do it. My recommendation is to use it or do it as an overlay. And so I've got some here. Let's see. I got one, I think. Let's see. Overlays, visuals. I think I made some overlays, or I'll take that back. Let's see. I did a template. So lower thirds template. So I did one here that's just got my logo there, and I did another one in white that has my logo as a part of it as well. But you can easily just do that as an overlay. And I thought I did that. Let me see. Did I make one there? No. Sunday, timers. And then I got visuals here. I did not. You could do it as an overlay. That would be another option, to where you just format it like you would a template, and then you can always make it come in and go away. I've got a logo here, that's just a part of it, but it's not a part of the lower thirds. But you would just format it. So if let's say we find, let's see here. I'll just make a quick one. Let's just do a whole new overlay, right? And I'm gonna call this one Garry B. Jr. lower third. All right, and this is kind of along the same lines of transparent lower thirds. We're talking about that a little bit. We were talking about some other questions, but so in here, you got a blank space, a blank box. So I'm going to put in a box here, and I'm going to make it be pretty trim, slim box because I want it to be able to have room for my logo to be on the side of it, right? So I'm going to put the box here and bring it down just a bit. And I like for my box to have, if you're going to do it next to an actual logo, I would like for the box to be filled in. So I'm going to make it be white, and I'll make the text be, we'll make it be, I want it to be like a dark gray. That's the kind of color that's in my logo. All right. Oh, it didn't select. All right. Oh, how come it's not picking that color? Let's see here. When I pick the color, that's oh, maybe because I don't have any text in there. Let's see here. Now let's see. There we go. All right, so you said I can just click shadow. Perfect, got it. That makes sense, Christopher. So I clicked on shadow, it completely went away, exactly like I didn't need to do earlier. Okay, so I got that in there, and then I need to add a logo. So to add the logo in, you got to go back to your items, and you got to select media, because it's an actual image, so which is a type of media as opposed to a text box. So we'll go there, and then it gives you just this blank box, right? So you can click on that box, and then you select media. And this gives you access to choose any media you want to from your computer, all right? And so for me, on my computer, I got my website, logos, I'm gonna do, and it's helpful for it to be a PNG, all right? A PNG means it doesn't have a background with it. So you can see there's nothing behind this. It's just a complete image of the logo, but nothing else, no white boxes or anything like that, all right? And I'm just dragging the window to shrink it down to be small enough to fit down there without being overbearing, all right? Click on it. It's not moving too good. And I don't know what's up with that. That is strange. Let's do here. Oh, I gotta go down here. I was trying to drag it like, I'm tripping. I was trying to drag it like it was a different kind of file. All right, so that's as simple as it is. I mean, you literally just have to have it there. Now, this text is huge compared to the logo, so I would probably make the logo a little bit bigger, right? And I keep wanting to drag on top of it. All right, so we drag it there, and it's centered up, and then I will make my text be probably 75, and let's say I wanted to make this be a dynamic value, right? And we'll do, because, and I say dynamic value, I really like dynamic values because they give you the flexibility. I think I talked about this a while back. So I'm gonna say speaker name, all right? And we'll go to show, and I can pop up that particular overlay now. And it's here, it says Garry Buycks Jr. test. I forgot to delete out, let me edit that real quick. So I need to delete the word test out of there that I typed in earlier. All right. So now that's done. And so now whenever I want to, I can just pop up this lower thirds, right? And then in my functions, I can go in there and I can actually type in whatever I wanted to say. So I could have made that be my bottom option for this. So this is logos and lower thirds. All right. And that could have been there that way, right? And I can disable the slide, and I could have made my title be just the logo with that overlay, right? Now, that would be my recommendation for doing a logo with lower thirds, just because it gives you that flexibility and it's all together. Let's see. Let me check in with you guys real quick. Let's see here. So use logo. Oh, and a QR code. Oh, we use logo and a QR code in the lower thirds from our church. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Brian, what do you guys put the QR code on the right side, like on the far right of the actual logo? Look, where's my, okay. Do you put it out here on this side of it on the far right? That would be kind of cool. Let's see here. John says, I have a question though. How do I quickly add a picture or a video to a media folder and show it? So Christopher's helping out. He says you can drag media directly into the project from the computer and show it that way. That was what I was thinking about. So just drag it in. You don't have to make it into a folder at all. He says, for me, it doesn't work, or maybe I don't do something right. Okay, so let's see here. So you said you have an issue. Let's see if I can pull up a window here. Oh, it won't let me show that. But maybe it'll let me pull. Hold on. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so I can show you guys what I'm doing. All right. So you see my backdrop. I got this fancy tree back there. And I'm going to pull in my Finder window. This is, I don't know, in Windows, what do you guys call the Finder window where you can find your files, right? So Christopher was saying you can just go in and you can drag images in. So I'm going to go into, I don't know if I got any. I'll put a picture of my head in there. I think I got a big picture. Oh, no, I got some stills. Christopher, you want to be more famous on here? I'll do this yellow box picture. All right, so I got this yellow box picture. So I can drag that in and boom, it shows up right there, right? And so that would be a way to manage that, John, that you can just drag it in there real easily from wherever your files are that you got. Just drag them onto there. If they're a PNG, they wouldn't show the white box, obviously. And then the way that I've got mine set up is my default for my images. Let's see what it looks like first. Okay, yeah, so it looks like it is, let me see what that setting is for my images. So I'm gonna go to my styles. Let's go back real quick so you guys can see what I'm looking at. If I go to screens there, okay. All right, so if I go back into my settings, my style for primary was what you guys are looking at is default style. All right. So if I go to default style, I've got my media set to contain, right? If you're going to be dragging files in, you want them to be able to fit in there the way you want them to. So I got it set to contain. So it literally fits the whole box or the whole image. So I would go in here and I would say either blur fill if you're trying to fill up the entire screen, or fill, right? Just a complete fill. Blur fill is probably the best because it makes sure you don't actually have your image like extend past the actual screen. So I'm going to turn that on. All right. And we're going to drag it in again and I'll let you see what it does. So I'm going to do a new show or new slide. All right. And I'm going to drag that same image in. And let's see what it looks like this time. All right. When I click it now, it's a little bit different. Let's see. Is it different? Not much. It's got that white on the sides of it, so it doesn't really show up as well. But it is kind of graying out, right? Oh, you guys can't see that. But it's kind of graying out the edges of it, but it's just white on the edge. So that's what this is here. Otherwise, it would just be completely black on the side of that. But PNG images are really good. And if you did fill, so if I go back to my settings and I went to, instead of my style for default being blur fill for media, if I made it be fill. So we'll say, okay, it's on fill. We'll go to show, make a new slide to kind of give you an idea of what it looked like. Drag that same file in, all right? And when we play it, it does that, right? So it literally stretched it out to make it fill the entire window with everything that was in there, all right? I don't necessarily recommend that because it will distort what you've got going on. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with your images. They all look the same here, but the way that you got your style set will dictate how it shows up. All right. I like the blur fill, especially for images that do have some type of like a JPEG image. If it's a PNG image, oh, that's a little bit different. I don't know. You probably have to do a fill, but you need to have a background on it, right? So it depends on how you got your background set up. All right. Let's see here. So Brian says on the bottom left corner. Okay. It has a church location, worship times, etc. Excellent. Excellent. Do you have a recommendation for the QR codes that you use? Brian, let me know. You got a recommended program that you use. I had a program that I found for ministry, and I can't even remember the name of it now because I did not make a note of it, but it was really cool. But you can find QR code makers for free kind of all over the internet. So make sure that you do that. I like the idea of using the QR code. All right. And so we've got this, we did the logo, we did the lower thirds, we answered the question about the picture. Let's dive into some of these updates in FreeShow, right? So we're in 1.4.0 for FreeShow. Okay, no worries, Brian. Let's talk about these updates because for me, that was exciting. And maybe I'm just a nerd, right? So I'm like, this is fun stuff. All right, so we got some good stuff here. We got, what's new? We got a new PDF renderer, right? That's there. So let me change, let me change my my functions. Let me see here. Let me go to my variables. Now we're talking about FreeShow 1.4.0 updates. All right. I wonder why it's not showing up. Interesting. Oh, it's showing up. I'm just not clicking it. Hold on, you guys. Let me see here. Let's put these away. It's there, but I don't want that. So I'm going to change my background back to be here. All right, there's that. We'll take off the overlay, and that's gone. But we're talking about the 1.4.0 update, and I'm going to get rid of these. I don't need these anymore. Remove, delete slide, and I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to get rid of that. Oh, it's just dragged in there. So Christopher, how do I get rid of that picture? That's crazy. All right, let's duplicate. Let's do new slide. I'm not going to duplicate. All right. And I'll put this back in there, my dynamic value. And this one is the FreeShow Friday topics. But it's locked in there. So Christopher, I dragged that in. How do I get rid of that image now? Because it's not showing up. Let's see. It's not showing up on the items page. It's not showing up there. So it's just like locked in as a default, like a background or something like that. Click the image icon on the top left. Oh, duh, that makes sense. All right, so if we go back out, notice here, this is something that I've done before. I've dragged backgrounds in, but I didn't even realize that. But this locks it in to where it's kind of like the default, like a default background for everything. So if I turn it off, it goes away. So John, if you're dragging those in and you want to get rid of them, I'd say if you want to get rid of them, you can drag different ones on different slides. But when I dragged it in, it made everything after it have that background on it as well, which I didn't even recognize it did that. So that's pretty cool. That was my first time using that. So that was pretty cool. All right. So for FreeShow updates, a new PDF renderer, that was one that for me, when I think about it, it has to do with the exporting, right? That's the exporting of PDFs. Is that right, Christopher? So, because when you think about rendering, it's not the importing of the PDF. So importing PDFs is one thing, which seems to have been updated as well. And I don't even know. I don't think that's in here as an update. It may have happened in 139, but I was able to import PDFs a lot easier. But the rendering of PDFs, this is crazy. All right. So to render a PDF, if you were to, I'm on this particular show, I can, is it right click? No, go down to shows. I'm gonna go down to shows. PDFs in the project. So it lets you put PDFs into the project and it just renders them better. So that's like the PDF import. Is that right? Let me know, Christopher, because I'm curious, because I saw some options where where you can right click on these and you can, where's it at? To export a project. How do I do that? Export. And so I saw this option. Would you like to export? You can export project shows and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it allows you to bring PDFs in a lot easier, which I noticed because that's what I thought. I was like, a renderer though seems like it's something that does something different. So Christopher is a developer. That's why I'm not a developer. I don't have a clue how to do that. But what he's saying, or what it says, is that it allows you to import your PDFs a lot easier, and that is a fact. So that's great. I'm grateful for that because that was something I was trying to work on making a video for, which I'll make in the future in detail. And then the updated stage editor. This is a big one. The updated stage editor. This is kind of crazy. So forgive me. This is looking bogus. Let me delete that out. All right. There's all kind of stuff in here. So I'm just going to, I got this unnamed stage deal. Let me rename it. And we're going to call this FreeShow Friday training. All right. All right. So this updated stage editor, I guess, is that what it's called? The stage editor. When I went to it, when I first saw this, I was like, what's wrong with the stage editor? How come it looks like that? Right? Why does it seems like it lost some stuff, because the stage editor used to have this whole list of like all kinds of different current slide text, current slide output, next slide text, next slide output. And then I got here and I was like, I think it's broke. I don't know. Has anybody else tested out or looked at this stage editor? And if so, what were your first thoughts? I know for me, I was like, where's all the stuff? Like everything is gone. And I felt like this is not an update at all. But when you click on this, so this just says slide text. It doesn't say next slide. It doesn't say current slide. It doesn't tell you any type of slide. But when you click on it, it shows you the slide text. That's perfect. That's literally what I have on the slide. But if you want this to be a different slide, let me do. I'm gonna go over here real quick. I want to show the labels, right? And so I can click on this and let's go back to text box. There's this option, or go to text box, let's say. So I added the item, I added the slide text, and then you go to your text box to edit, just like you would on any other now. I don't think that was an option before where you can actually edit the text, but now you got this text editor. Maybe you could. I take that back. You probably could. But you got this text editor here. And with the text editor, you can say slide offset. Now this won't work on here, but I'm gonna add in another show. Let me add another show that has a lot more stuff in it. So let's add in this show, the helpful item show. All right. So this show has all kinds of stuff in it. Okay. I'm gonna go back to my stage editor. Oh, I guess I got to show that show. So let's do, if I click that, it pops up for you guys there, which I don't want to do. Let's do, hold on. I'm gonna go back to my screens. All right. It should show up. Okay, there we go. So it's showing up. I got this one active. I'm gonna turn that off for now. I'm gonna say clear slide. Okay, so you guys can see that. If I go back to my stage editor, I think it will it show up anything? Maybe not. Let's see. Okay. So I got a bunch of bullets, but I cleared the slide text, so it's gonna look kind of goofy. But you can literally hit the offset and you can go to the different slide that you want. So if you want to go to the next slide, you just hit offset by 1. Now I've got weird bullets in here and all that kind of stuff, so it's kind of funky. Let's see here if I can. So it lets you keep the style. And this is where we're talking about with PowerPoint, where it becomes a challenge. If you have formatted your PowerPoints in a special way that you like, and this and that and the third, you're going to run into some formatting issues. And that's what I've got here. This is just a formatting issue. I didn't do this in PowerPoint, but it's a slide that I customized, so it looks special. It's got this template with it that has the bullets with it, so it looks fine when I show it. But when I go to my stage editor, I can see that the next slide is going to be, it says Adobe Express, right? So if I go to show, let's see here. Okay, there's Adobe Express there, Canva and all that kind of stuff. And it's showing all that information there, but there's the other part of it up there at the top. So I just got to stretch this out to make it fit all those bullets, which I wouldn't recommend doing that. I wouldn't do that. All right. And then let's go back to the text box. He says, can you have the topic titles pre-made as a show in the left pane? Oh, topic titles pre-made. I could. The challenge would be, so what I would think I would need to do is I need to just make it an overlay, because the issue, Brian, is I'll start answering questions and then I don't even do anything with it. So let's do, I'm gonna change this, and I'm gonna make this one be, instead of it being the speaker name, I'm gonna make that be my topic title. That is speaker name. Let's do, that's podcast. Here we go. All right. And then I'm going to take off the logo for now, just because I don't want it to be distracting. And I'm going to arrange this just like I had the other one. So we'll pull it down to the corner and down over here. And we'll make it be an overlay so it won't go away as easily when I change to different slides. All right. The text box, auto size. Auto size is your friend. And then item, we're going to put that padding back on it. And that's there. All right. Cool. All right. Now I can click that and it should show up. Yeah. FreeShow Friday updates. Perfect. Sorry about that, Brian. I did notice it was gone, but I was like, I'm trying to do that, but it didn't stick around because I was like, I'm on a different slide. So the overlay is going to be the best answer for that. But I love the layout. This show is, I laid it out really weird. So let me see if I can find another show that's a little bit better laid out. Here's one about Jesus. I don't even know what no, that one's a little funky. That one's got video with it. So I'm going to remove that one. Let's do a song. Let's do a song. That's typically where you'll see this. So let's put in this one. All right. So I go to this song. I've got some different layouts with all this. This is so funny. When I make all these tutorials and stuff like that, I'll end up editing stuff and it stays on accident without even thinking about it. So I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to make this template be all the same for this song. Let's make it be big and bold. All right. So this song is all here. If I go to the stage, it's not showing up yet. So I'm going to pull this in. So it's going to pop up, but I'll come back to you guys. All right. So let's go back to media. And I'm just going to share my screen. All right. There we go. Okay. So if I go to the stage, now we got a general slide show, right? So a song show, right? This is the text box, but this is offset. So it says next slide. If I want it to be the current slide, I just go to -1 and it should go back. Let's see, this is an issue that Christopher fixed for us just recently. But if I go back to my stage view, it's completely blank. All right. And it's the current slide. I want to add another box and I want to call it my next slide. So I will go to items and I will just add slide text again. All right. And it defaults to being the next slide, which is really cool. All right. So I'm going to put that in there like that. And that's the next slide text. But this is where things get interesting because I don't have to just keep it at next slide. You could make it to where you could have like more slides. So I can make a whole box that has the next 4 slides, for example, right? And so this is slide text for current slide text for the next slide, and then 2 slides up. So it shows them the next 2 slides, and you can do it even further by adding an additional item, another slide text that is the 3 slides over. All right. If you want it to be further, you can do that by just selecting it and then just hitting the plus sign, and it'll go up to the 4th slide past, right? Typically, you want it to be kind of consecutive. You don't want it to be too much. This would be overkill for most any confidence monitor. I think it would probably lessen confidence. But the thing about this that's so cool is that you can actually select however many slides forward you want to go. And that was not an option before, from what I remember, right? So that to me is really cool. So when it comes to the stage view, that's a big update. You can set the max number of lines that you want. So if I said, okay, for this one, I don't know how many lines I got set for this show. Let's see. For this show, I think that's 2 lines total, even though it's looking like 4. But let's go back to the stage view. Let's see what happens. If I go here and I say I want to just show 1 line, notice here it shows just 1 line of text in the actual the next slide text info in this case, or you can make it be the current slide. It's up to you, but you can select that, right, which is really cool. And then you can say keep style if you want to, and it'll make it look like the same style for that show. The bullet thing was kind of weird and awkward because the way I had to format that, but this is what they're going to see. And this is still me selecting slide text. All right. So I'm going to take this one out. These are, all right. So this is current slide. This is next slide. Okay. If we go to make a new item and we're going to make it be current output. All right. It shows our current output. Let me format that to be a little bit different so it'll fit better. All right. So that's the widescreen view. My boxes were all kinds of weird because I was just doing the text. But this is what the image looks like, right? So I can click on that and I can say, well, I want to see what let's see, a slide text. So the slide text shows you the current output. And I'll go to the item. It doesn't give you that option to do like next output. I don't see, at least, right? So let's do item again. If I say, it just gives you that one. So if I go out, unless you put in the one current output, which that's perfectly fine. But this is because this is blank. There's no, the output is the actual, you guys' stuff. So I don't want to mess that up. But that's something that's updated, the stage view. All right. Editor, the stage view editor is really cool. And Christopher, correct me if there's other things on there that I didn't say or that are not, that I didn't include that are part of that stage view update. The spelling autocorrect, that's great. The random number variable, this one is kind of crazy and cool at the same time, because the random number variable to me is something that is like, it like makes FreeShow that much more flexible when you think about having activities. For me, like when I think about church activities or ministry activities, or just an event where you guys are having like a giveaway, a raffle giveaway or something like that. And let's look and see what that looks like. So if we go to our functions here, and I'm gonna make this big again. This is about the random variable option. So if I go to variables, I already created one here. I'm gonna delete that. All right. If you do new variable, first off, it says you can add text box in stage and right click to add dynamic values, including the notes. Oh yeah, that's a big deal. So I'm gonna go back to the stage real quick. All right. And so what he was saying is you can go into here. Let's see, this is slide text. If I go to items, you can go into adding a text box on the actual stage view. Now, a while back, there were some questions about how to do this to where you can communicate with the people that are on stage without having to be in the way and using the stage view to do it. Now you can do that way easier than some of the recommendations that we had to do in the past by just simply going to your stage view and just add a text box. And in that text box, you can right click and add your dynamic values. So for this one, maybe we want to have, this says logos in lower third. So we'll put that one in here. All right. So this is called the variable that it's the speaker name variable that I created. But if I go into my show and it is the speaker name, let's say, I think the question at the time a while back was, don't forget offering. Right? And so the speakers are speaking, they're doing the thing, and they're forgetting to do offering time. Let me turn on my stage display. First, let's see which one that was. This one is called, I think, okay, FreeShow Friday Training. All right. So let's go here, FreeShow Friday Training. Let's do outputs. And I'm going to turn on my stage. And then when you turn on your stage outputs, you get to pick which one you want. So I'm going to pick FreeShow Friday. That's kind of like your style, right? And I'm going to activate it. And it's there. And so now when people are looking from the stage, they're going to see the next slide. And they're going to also see this text box. I can make it as big as I want. That says, don't forget the offering. I love it. Let's see here. If I go back to stage view, can I edit? I don't think I could. Can I edit the name of that particular text box? Show labels, color label, source output. I don't think we can name it. And Christopher, correct me if I'm wrong. But it'll be called text box from what I can tell now, which that's completely fine. And it's got text here, text transform, no text transform needed. special, the press action. Oh, this is going to be different. I have not played with that one yet. That's going to be crazy. All right. So you can add the text box with the dynamic values, just as a note. And you can customize this. So I can right click on that, or double click it, I should say, and I can make that color be bright yellow, for example, right? And so now they'll see it and it'll look like that. And it'll be in the corner. Everything else will be white. I got my labels to be kind of a dull yellow or orangish color. And then I got this bright yellow text there. All right. So that is a really cool update for you guys when it comes to that. All right. Let's go back to show, and actually let's go to, will FreeShow run on a Chromebook? I don't think so. I believe it's for Windows, Linux, and Mac. And let's see, I'm gonna make this go down. In terms of the download options, let's see. So they got the Mac, the ARM 64. Oh, these are all Mac options. Let's see, use this version if you need FreeShow on the old operating system. But since I got a Mac, it shows. But up here, you see it's got Windows, Apple, and Linux, I believe is what that logo is. So it won't work on a Chromebook. That's using, I believe it's just called Chrome OS. I'm not sure what the operating system is for a Chromebook. Unless you can fake your Chromebook to run like a Windows or Linux machine, like I say fake, boot it into that, that's fine. But what you can do with a Chromebook is you can go to your browser, okay, and you can control FreeShow using your Chromebook from your browser as long as you go into your connections options, right? So you can go here to your settings and go to connections, and you can make a remote show, a stage show, a control show, output show. So you can show a FreeShow show using your browser on a Chromebook as long as you got access to the internet or the same Wi-Fi network. And then you can control the show. You can also do the remote show view or just the output show using a Chromebook, using the browser on your Chromebook. So using Google Chrome on a Chromebook, you can access all of this stuff, which gives you quite a bit of flexibility. Okay. So if I were to go, let's see, we go to remote show here, and it's asking for the password, and the password for remote show, let's see what it was. 8208 for me. 8208. Hit submit. And so this is what it looks like. And so on your Chromebook, you could literally go to different shows, and control it, right? It's not that it's natively running on your Chromebook, but you do have access to connect to it wirelessly through the connection settings in FreeShow, which is kind of like running the show and running it from your Chromebook, technically, okay? So yes, you can, but no, you cannot install it on a Chromebook, if that makes sense, all right? And that was just from the connections menu. I just went into the settings and over to connections, and you can actually do that for any tablet, any phone, any device that can connect to that network. And you can put in the IP address here, or on your phone or tablet, you can just scan this QR code and it'll pop up in a browser, right? So on Safari or Google Chrome or whatever browser you've got on your device, it'll pop up because it's going to that IP address, which is really cool. All right, where were we at? We were talking about, downloads, the updates. So let's go to the change log. We'll go to the updates here. So we got the random number. Going back to the random number, this kind of gives you like this game show effect, I guess is what I would call it. And I was playing with this, and so the game show, or the variable for random number, it literally is right in the middle. When you go to your functions and you select new variable, you get this random number option, and you can name it. I'm just gonna call it random number for now. I'm gonna call it random number game, right? And it says you can animate it. I've not played with that yet. So let's do random numbers 1 through 50. I don't know. And then you got this option to add more random. Oh my goodness, you could add another random number. What? Okay, so this is a name. Let's call this one I'm gonna call it gift card. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, gift card, and this one's gonna be the car, right? They're giving away cars. 1,000 people that signed up to get the car. So I'm going to say, I'm gonna enter and close. All right. So it's got that, and if I hit randomize, it pops up, and it just keeps. I can just keep hitting random, and it just pops up a random number. Now that other one I made, I don't know what happened to that. Christopher, if you're still on there, let me know if there's another way to manage, because I put in, oh, it shows you the history, which is really cool. But I did this number one random number, and I did this one. How do I see that one? So I'm gonna trash that, the 1 to 50, and it shows up, and I just click it one time, and it pops up this random number. Now, since it's a variable, that means it can actually be a part of your slide text, right? So I got FreeShow 1.4 updates as a pop-up or overlay. So I'm gonna go into there, and I'm going to right click, edit, and we're gonna add in another box in here. This is gonna be hilarious. So I'm gonna add a text box, items, and text box. Oh, I gotta add it first. All right. And then we're gonna make this one be in the far corner. It's just a random number we're gonna put in there. And I'm gonna put it down here in the corner. And this text box is gonna auto fit. And it is going to be the dynamic value of, oh, okay, so it's got the gift card option there. All right, so it says gift card. All right, and then we go to show. If I hit refresh, it says gift card. What did I do? Let's see, let me go back here. Let's edit. So it got named. This is called random number game. Where'd that gift card thing come from? Or where'd it go? I lost it. All right, let me randomize it again. Let's see. It goes to 40. But it didn't change down there. It still said, oh. It's not showing the number, but I can see the number here. I want to show the number there. So let me go back to my overlays real quick. This is so crazy. It's cool. I'm gonna delete that, and I'm gonna right click, and dynamic values. It's called gift card, but I did one. Oh, this is called random number game. This is called random. Okay, so I wonder what. Oh, got it. I got it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in there, and then add another dynamic value, and I'm gonna put in this one. All right, so now we got everything we need. All right, so that title shows up as a part of the function, so I can do this, and it didn't show up. Let me see what I did. Let me refresh. It should show that number, I thought. Gift card. Okay, there we go. So it's all next to each other. All right, so it's fitting in there. I just got to stylize it a little bit better. So let's go to overlays again and edit. And we'll put a space in between, a dash. I'll put a dash in between it, and I'm going to make the item actually have a background that's white, and the text box, or the text itself will be black. All right, and I'll make it a little bit bigger because I got it really puny. All right, show that, and let's refresh. All right, oh, I got to turn off the shadow. My bad. Right click, edit. Yep, showing up on the screen behind this one. Yeah, and so let me turn off this shadow real quick, you guys. Let's go to text box. Shadow, okay, that's off. All right, so now when I update, you'll be able to see, okay, so gift card number 18 in this case. But if I go back into the functions and I click it again, it should update and it goes to number 38. And so if you were doing, like I said, raffle numbers, that is so cool. To me, that's so cool. I love the flexibility that is being introduced in all these different features. So you can do it for raffle numbers. What are some ideas you guys can think of that comes with this random number idea in FreeShow's random number variable, right? So I'm thinking about games. My wife and I, we love to play games. We love to give stuff away. Like if you want to give gifts away and things like that, you can have people pull a ticket if you wanted to. You could have them come up and they can guess a number, and make it pop up some random number. I mean, it's a lot of different things you can do with this. My mind goes all over the place when it comes to creativity. There's a lot of ways you can go with it. So I'm always thinking about that. All right. So that's an option. All right. That's there. The random number deal. And then let's see here, audio sound effects player. Now that one I could not figure out where that was. And did anybody see that? The audio sound effects. If I go to audio, I don't see like a sound effects. And Christopher, if you're on, you feel free to jump in and tell us where that is. But when I go into my settings here, I don't see an option for audio sound effects. So I don't know where to find that actually. When I saw that option, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. How do you do it? I don't know if it's in media. I don't see it in media as anything special. He said if you right click an audio file, you can add it. Oh, okay. So that is crazy. Okay, so I can right click on this. Well, this is a long song, right? So it's called audio sound effects player. So do I have to right click it in here? If I go to edit, type default. Oh man, this is crazy. So now we can make it be a default. We can make it be music or an effect. And I'm guessing music is the default. Is that right? Man. Okay, so music that's not in a playlist, but in a folder. Oh man, Christopher, this is crazy. All right. I got to get some sound effects now. So these are all like songs though, right? So add to effects library. So when I click that, where did my effects library go? Oh, sound effects is up here. That is sweet. Okay. So basically, if you have sound effects that you want to use during, in this case, like a live stream or during a service, you can make it, and it basically makes it like a button where you can click it and it'll play. I don't want to do that right now because I think it's going to be too loud, but because it's a long song. But if you have like sound effects like clapping or oohs and ahs or laughing or whatever it is, you can do all that. That is cool. So he says, if it's shorter than 30 seconds, it will be treated as effect. Effects can be stacked, but not music. That is so cool. Okay. So sound effects, find them in your folder under music. Oh, you know what? I got a sound effects library. Let me see here. All right. I got ants. Let's see here. A ball catch, balloons. Let me see here. Bathroom sink. I got to put on my headphones for this. I want to hear it. I want to make sure that I'm with y'all on this one. Let's see here. All right. Bathing water splashes. All right. All right. Click on that. Let's add that to effects library. I don't know how long it is. All right. Check that out. And I can turn it off by just clicking on it again. I like it. That is really cool. Okay, so it opens up a lot of features for all kinds of cool stuff, right? So to me, I think about that as it relates to how you can use it for other outlets and mediums. So if you guys have like a podcast or something like that for your ministry, for you as an individual, you can just make a whole slew of sound effects. And if you get DaVinci Resolve, this is where I got, these are all just from DaVinci Resolve. Let's do the bag unzipped. So I'm going to do add it to effects library, sound effects. He said these could be stacked. Let's see here, bag unzipped. right click. No, I can't rename. How do you stack them, Christopher? Let's see. It's not in the playlist, but a photo. Okay, if it's shorter than 30 seconds, got you. You said effects can be stacked, though. How do you do that? If I right click, I see the option to rename and remove, but I don't know how to move them to stack them. But this bag unzip, let's see how it sounds. Sounds like a bag unzipping. I like it. I like it. So he said just click multiple after each other. Gotcha, gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense. So I can click on as many as I want to at a time. Nice. All right. So sound effects now are part of FreeShow. This is getting crazy. Okay. Text box press and release action. The text box press and release action. I saw that option when I was in the stage editor, but I want to see if I just go to the regular editor. So let's go to, there's that. Let's go back to a show. I had this one. And so the text box press and release. I'm gonna go to edit. I believe it was in here. So if I go to this and click on that. No, it wasn't here. Where did I see that at? Text box. Under special. Okay. Now, so this one right here. So the press action and then the release action. You can literally make it change all kinds of like actions, right? So you can go to any action that you've got. So these are all of the list of actions under my functions. So if I got all these different actions I've created. Now, Christopher, my question is, how do you activate that when it says press and release? What are you pressing on? That would be my question. What do I have to press on to make these work? And then when you say release, what is up with that? Stop the clock. I got all these different actions, but I don't know what would I press at if I were in the show and I were playing this. Where would I press to make it switch to that particular action? I guess is what I'm saying. Like, do I click in the actual slides here, or do I click over on the primary on the preview? He says you click the text box in the output window. That's what I figured. So in the output window over here, that is crazy. So it's like a hyperlink or something. Okay, let me stop some of this stuff. I'm gonna stop this stage view real quick. This is about to get crazy. All right, so live stream, I don't need that one on. And stage, I don't need that one on anymore. We're done talking about that. This is all about these FreeShow updates, all right? So we got the variable card. You guys can see that down there at the bottom of the screen over here. So we got this variable with the random number. Now we're talking about how do we utilize this press and release action. So if I go back to show, I'm gonna go to this one. All right. And the actions I've got. Let me see what actions I've got, because I want you guys to be thinking with me, what are some use cases for this? So this one, he says the cool part about that is that you can create a control board, stage layout, and control action from a tablet. Okay. If you click the tab. Man. Christopher, that's crazy. So basically, you're making it a touch interface built into the show, so that if you're running it from a tablet that is touch, a touch tablet or phone, I guess, from a tablet, you can literally change stuff. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna see if I can do it from here. So will it work on a computer as well, though? That would be my next question. So can it work on a computer if I'm literally clicking on the output space or the preview output? Let's see. So text box in the output window, it will trigger. All right, we're gonna try it out. So let's go to edit, and I'm gonna go to this very first slide, and I'm gonna go down to, I'm gonna click on this special. We got this press action. All right. It's a music shortcut. I gotta remember what I did. What are these actions? I got all kind of actions that I use them for specific things. All right, so let's see. Stage output. Oh, not the preview, but the main output. So will it work from a computer though? Can you click on the slide and change a PTZ camera preset like you can in PowerPoint 7? That is the question. Click on a slide and it'll change. So he's saying it's important, especially when it comes to you managing it on a tablet interface. And my tablet is on the floor and it's dead. The battery is not charged yet. So Christopher is saying, yes, you can click on a slide and change a PTZ camera. Man, that is so cool. I don't have a PTZ camera, but that's a pan tilt zoom camera for those who are online and trying to understand what they are. That is crazy. Okay, so yeah, these updates are unbelievable. I gotta make something. Let me see. Let me do an action real quick. Let's call this one. I'm gonna see if I can do it on my other monitor. So he says using triggers. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so I'm just call it press test for now. All right, so let's do a start action. We'll do a start overlay. And the overlay I want is my 10-minute countdown overlay. Okay. So now I've got this press test. All right, so now I'm gonna go down here. The press action is press test. So if I click on this while it's on the output, so now let's test that out. Let's see if I can get it to show up on the output. If I go to show and we actually output this, it does that. Don't know what just happened. Hold on just a second. Let's see. I gotta go into here, full screen. Nope. Let me see what I got that set up to go to. I thought it was going to that. This is the right output. Let me see something here. Hold on. So my FreeShow Friday training. So primary is set to default. The output is on that screen. That's good. Oh. How can I make that work for you guys? All right, so let's do NDI, because I'm trying to make this work in a way that makes sense with me using OBS at the same time, which may or may not work. That's the issue. So I got OBS here. I want it to show here. So let's go back into FreeShow. Let's turn off. Okay, we'll click that. That's good. Now, what he's saying is I can go over here. I can click on that. Boom. The 10-second timer clicked on it. I've got a separate monitor. I don't have the touchscreen tablet, but I got a separate monitor. So I just moved my mouse over and clicked, and it started my 10-minute timer, which is already timed out. So I haven't reset that timer, but it does it. So now, that makes possibilities endless. All right, hold on. Let me go back to here. Let's see. That's full screen. We don't want that. We want this one. And I'm going to turn this off. All right. And let's do. Oh, I know what I need to do. It's right here. All right. And so that is kind of cool. I like that a lot. A lot of possibilities. So you can use FreeShow slides to be interactive, to change or to activate actions that you have if you're using a touchscreen, or if you just got all of them connected to one computer. You can literally move your mouse over and click in that box, that text box, wherever it is that you want, and make it like do different stuff. I made mine pop up the 10-minute timer. All right. Yeah, I'm blown away. I must admit, that's kind of crazy. So other things that we got are some tweaks. Let's go back into showing my screen real quick. Screens and here. All right. So we got a few tweaks that are going on. Let me turn that off, and we'll turn off that timer. We can keep the timer. That's no big deal. But dynamic values pop up. Really cool pop up. Edit group names. That has to do with like in the text edit, so you can do the group names, like the like not group, but like the song stuff, like the verses and the whatever musical stuff it is. I don't do musical stuff, so forgive me. Auto split long scripture verses. That one is kind of cool. I was playing with that one the other day. Let me see here. So for scriptures, I talked about this a little bit on that transparent video template that I released. So you got this option down here now called split long verses, and I can make this full size. Well, no, we'll keep it here. So you can split long verses by default, and then it gives you an option to pick the size of the font that you want it to be, which is really cool. And I tested that out with like the longest verse in the Bible. I think is Esther chapter 8, verse 9 or something like that. And what it does is it gives you, like you can see here, like a B, A and a B. And if it's really long, it'll be A, B, C, a D version of that particular verse. So it's two 11s, 11A and 11B, because I've got it to where it automatically splits long verses. This to me is important for those, especially using or that want to have their text be the exact same size on their slides. Now, the thing about it is it only works when you're using them from the drawer, from what I've seen at least. And Christopher, correct me on that if I'm wrong. But if you're popping your scriptures up from the drawer, they will automatically adjust. I'm going to go to a template that is a scripture template real quick to give you guys an idea. I got some big scripture verses. Let me see where it is though. Okay. We'll do this one. All right. And so this is really big. So I'm going to go to this verse here. And let's see that. Okay. So see how big those are? And I go to that one. It doesn't change the size. And so let's see if it'll show up right. If I do that, well, it shows up there. So it shows up over the top, which is fine because I'm sharing my screen so you can see the verse on top. And then when I go to the next verse, it's there. This is 10A. This is not the entire verse 10. The rest of it is here 10B. Okay. But they're the same size. They're not smaller or larger. They're not like if you use a template and you turn on auto size, it'll make it to where it just fits inside your box, no matter how long that verse is. So it'll shrink down the text font size, or it'll make it bigger up to the limit that you set. This split verse makes your verses all the same size on the screen. All right. This is handy to me when it comes to like using like a lower thirds type setup. So let me come back out real quick. Let's clear that out. And if you go to your templates here and you do a lower third scripture template. So this is a lower third scripture transparent. All right. So if I go to, I'm gonna go to that I don't know. These are fine. These are like, so if we go to this one, it shows up there. And then I go to the next part of it, it shows up and the text size didn't change, even though this particular template does have auto size for the text. They don't get smaller or larger based on the size of the text, or the length of the text, I should say. Right? Everything stays the same, which is really cool. And that's this split long verses option that we've got. I really like that option when it comes to using this particular option from the drawer when you're pulling your scriptures from the drawer. Let's see, next in previous slide, text dynamic values. So next in previous slide, text dynamic values. I saw that one. So if we go back out, you can literally, this is crazy. So you can go to, which this is usually probably helpful. It depends. I'm not sure if I would use it. Let's see if I go here, right? And let me go back to my screen. All right. So I'll make it go away for now. But if I go to edit this particular piece here, I can go to items, text box, and I can make a new text box. This one, I'm going to pull it up. I'm used to wanting to click in the middle for whatever reason to drag those up. All right. So I got that there, and I'm going to make this one small. I can right click in here and go to dynamic values. And let's see here. So variable, the show, the verse, let's see here. Slide text, previous, slide text, next. I can click that. And the slide text next is going to be a part of that slide now, if that makes sense. And I can do the previous text as well. It's just this is the first slide, so there was no previous text, so it's completely empty. But that's kind of cool. If I go here and I'm going to go to this box, for example, and I make this text box be, I'm going to make it be like small. I'm going to make it be like 50. I'm going to give it a kind of a fun effect. And then I'm going to make it be auto size. But then I'm going to go to the font color or the text color. And we're going to make it kind of like, well, no, we'll keep it white. But I want to go to transparency. Let's see here. Is that option here? Text. I think it's just under the item itself, which is fine. So yeah. So I'm going to go to the item. And I want to make it kind of transparent though. All right. So I'm going to go to opacity. Here it is. It's at the top. I'm just overlooking it. All right. So I'm going to make it be like, oh, let me go back. Let me pick that particular item. So I want this particular item to be a little transparent. All right. And then we refresh it. And so now it looks like that. That is a pretty cool effect if you're showing your slides. All right. And so it kind of gives it that upcoming feel, which I like. And that's a cool idea to use. And it's a dynamic text. So I can put that on every slide. If I go back in, let's go back to let you guys see my screen. If I go back in and put that on every slide, let's turn off text and go to edit. If I go back in here to edit it and I put that little box, since it's dynamic, let me click on it. All right. It's selected. I can copy it. I can go here and I basically can make it a template is what I would probably do. And I'm just going to show you guys an idea of what it would look like. And I'm just putting it on a few slides. All right. So if we go back to our show, and some of those are overlapping, which these are not. So I'll start here. All right. So you can see there it's got that, and it's got the upcoming text showing up as well. And then it's down there, and I got it really small. You can make it bigger, almost like it's scrolling up, like it's the upcoming text is showing up or about to show up, and it's there. All right. So that's a really cool feature that I like as well. I like that. That is really sweet. All right. And that one is called next previous slide, text dynamic value, copying style from multiple different items. That works now. You can auto check if 12-hour clock should be enabled. CSV file import. That's crazy. That's like, what does CSV stand for? Comma? I don't know what CSV stands for, but I call them like some version of an Excel spreadsheet export. And then more actions have been added, remote show improvements, updated languages, small border radius, and then minor enhancements. So I want to go back to this one where it says more actions. I don't know if you guys have checked the actions tab section lately. Let me see here. The actions are unbelievable in the way that they've been formatted now. So if we go into here, I'm gonna maximize this because that's the last thing we'll talk about. If we go in here, we talk about the actions. So I'm gonna go into my actions. I say new action, and I'm not even gonna name it. I'm just gonna choose an action. It's organized differently now, or better, I should say. And I think that was already there, but you can see all the different actions. They got one called play slide recording. We've got clear drawing. That one stood out to me. Change stage connections layout. That's crazy. That's cool. I don't know if that was always there or not, but it's cool to see it. It's this organized version or format really lets you be able to find everything you need to really easily. All right. But that one is really cool as well. Next track in the playlist, start playlist. Those are all there under audio, which I love. And then timers and all these down here as well. So there's been a lot of updates to FreeShow in this 1.4. I'm curious which one you guys plan to use the most, or which one was most intriguing to you. There's so many of them for me that I can't say that there's one that stands out as my favorite. I love the random number thing just because of the creativity that it entails. Like, it's a way to do some random stuff on live or on a podcast or something like that. It also, I like the, which one did we see? I'm gonna go back to here. Let's see. So we talked about the PDF render a little bit. The stage editor, that one is really cool too. I like that one a lot. And that text box press release action thing, that one deserves some more attention. We'll talk about that one another time to kind of dive into it, to kind of get an idea of what are the possibilities, repercussions of using something like that. If you're using a tablet to control the show, that is unbelievable to be able to do that and have that flexibility, which I love. So very cool stuff. What questions do you guys have? I know we got to answer quite a few questions already, but if you got any other questions, this is the time to ask it. Hopefully you got some information out of here that's helpful. This was more almost like just a review of things that you may or may not ever dive into if you're not, if you got your own flow, right? So typically we're going service to service and we've got our own flow of how we're going to do things, which is great. But my goal is to always help introduce you to some of the features that you may or may not use already, to expose you to it, to see if you can improve what you're currently doing, right? That's the goal with this, is that I wanted to present all these to you guys to see it so that you can actually determine if this is something that you need to implement to make your workflow that much better. All right. I think the team has done a great job with developing this. I'm really excited about implementing some of these into my workflow, and hopefully you guys are too. So until next time, have a great rest of the day. Have a great service this week. For those who are having service on this weekend, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you next time. And be ready for part 2 next week on the interview. I believe it'll be on Thursday as well. And so we'll kind of go from there. I think I got to catch up with everybody's comments. It started becoming me asking you guys more questions than anything, and really asking Christopher a lot of questions. With the show suggestions, you the show producer. Man, I'm trying to tell you, I need a producer. My wife would probably do it pretty well, but she's busy working on some other stuff as well. And so I got to navigate that, man. I'm telling you, that's a good idea. I got to figure out how I can make that work. We'll see. That's a good idea though. I love it. Well, you guys have a great rest.